So now it's time to discover one of the most strange bakeries in the world, not for Icelanders. Okay, it's very healthy. Even sometimes it can be a little bit smelly, but it's because of the sulfur and another among minerals, together with one of the most pure waters in the world. And with the algae, we have a lot of algae here, and with the rocks all together, and with the hot springs as well, all together they create this steam that science recognizes is very good for rheumatism, skin conditions, heart conditions, and according to the Vikings is also good for your groundness and your emotions. I'm going to share with you the recipe, how we do it inside, when we taste the bread. And you're going to see this is a pot, you can use your own pot. But one thing that I recommend you is to pop it very well. If you don't do it, then your food is going to be very, very crunchy. Yeah. So you should put like 2/3 of the dough inside, and then leave 1/3 to make it grow. Yeah. And then before you put the lid, you just rub it very well, both sides, and then you put the lid, and then you rub it again. Okay. Again, if you don't do it, it's going to be very, 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 very crunchy. Okay, and then it's the fun part. It's looking for the hot springs. Here around this big area, it's easier as there's a lot of lava. You can see boiling everywhere. But ideally, it should be like just one spot, like this one. By the way, when you see boiling, it's 100 degrees Celsius or 210 Fahrenheit. So it's boiling water. Like this is the ideal one spot, and then the rest of the water is going to be warm. This is probably too much, and it's going to be very quick. So where you're going to see steam under the ground, you can see there as well. Where you see steam, there's a high chance that we're going to see boiling water, under the surface. So we just dig. It's like digging for gold. Sometimes we just dig it, but sometimes we don't find it, so we have to dig a little bit more left, a little bit more right. Again, someone said it's not about the goal, it's about the journey. So the rye bread is exactly that. So the bread we're gonna eat is exactly on Shan. Everybody have a name here. This is Loiga, Taikwa, Siki, Shan, Victor, Maria. We try to do a name, and we have a map. We already have a map where the hot springs can be. There's more probability to have them. Let's dig for our treasure. Can you listen? So ideally we have to dig deep, even if we find boiling water. It's easily, if we dig deep. And the idea is that our pot should be under this surface level. If you leave it on the top, it's okay, but in Iceland the weather changes a lot, so it can be suddenly very stormy. Sometimes winds 150 kilometers, and if you leave it on the top, there's a high probability that you're gonna find your food floating on the lake. Well, we have a famous trout here, and they love it, the rye bread as well. So they'll be very happy. So let's dig a little bit. And if you want to approach to see it, you can see it. So again, all this area is like very boiled area. So we are exactly on the top of lava. And then very carefully we see the boiling, and we have to put on the top of boiling, but without burning yourself, of course. And then one question, how much time do you think it will take to cook the bread like this? Any guesses? 4 hours?
One night?
One night? Anyone else? Yeah? Exactly 24 hours. You can wait for coffee for everybody now, huh? Yeah, it's around 24 hours. But by the way, this part here, if you see boiling water, don't touch it. But if you just here is okay. As you see, it's very, very warm. Okay. In the winter, everything is frozen. We and the kids, and this is mainly family, so we go all together, do ice skating and do winter activities on the lake. But here, in this shop, like in this state, it's always unfrost. So when the conditions allow it, you can just walk in, choose. Okay. Even if they are not very good at the moment, I don't know, but it's easy to feel grateful when you are on ice. The good thing is to feel grateful when you are on the road. From the outside, and when it's very, very cold, it starts to feel like the ice blocks, and they close the drains, and the water starts coming up. You want it very well? Yeah, you don't do it even. And we also, that's why it's important to rock it before the lid. It's like to make a bed. If some water or some sand goes inside, it's not going directly to the bread. So, let's find out. Okay, so now we can look to the bread, and the shape of the bread, it can give you some signs. Like the concave shape, then it means that it was the perfect time and the perfect hot springs. And it means that it's very, very fluffy and soft, yeah, and very sponge. When it takes more time, now we can see it's flat, and sometimes it's even concave. Both of them, it means that it was a long time, that it was a little bit, probably the size is a little bit overcooked. The flavor is the same, but the experience in the mouth is different. So this soft one is very soft on the mouth. When it's when this shape, it starts to compress, and then it's more dense. Okay. But can you please look?
O cheiro parece broa, né? Quem conhece aí, aquela broa feita com rapadura. Não sei, o cheiro é muito bom. Agora a gente vai experimentar.
Okay, can gather here around. So first, I'm just gonna wash my hands for 1 second, okay? But meanwhile, I want to share with you what once was a very well kept secret. Okay, it's not a secret anymore. Is the recipe of this rye bread. Yeah, this is on this paper and on this paper. So you can take a picture, yeah, just take a picture of the recipe, and We hope you're gonna do it, the bread. Even if you don't find hot springs, you can do it in your houses, okay? And then share with us, you know, if you do some twists. This is a classic recipe, but people sometimes they do their own twist. And what we're gonna try it is the sweet version of the rye bread. We also have a sour version, but usually people or love it or hate it. Okay, so we like to stick with the sweet version, yeah. And this is one of the fewest places that you're gonna taste the rye bread cooking on the hot springs. Yeah. Well, after the documentaries, you know, some places they start to do it as well. There's a Sigrid from Rijkold. She's doing in a different way, and she's doing in the milk package as well. And it's quite nice. She does it on Fridays. It's she's a lovely person, and her bread she's very nice as well. So let's cut it. And you can see here this beautiful trout. Actually, this beautiful trout is from this lake, and on the other side of the lake, there's a place called Pute. And there's this beautiful family. For the last 70 years, they catch the trout from the lake, and then they have a technique to open. Don't feel shy, okay? We didn't take the breakfast. Does anyone took the breakfast? Yeah? Yeah? No? That's good. So I'll say ladies first, if the gentlemen don't mind. We can start with this lady. Here you go. You can help yourself. Well, I don't know about you. In Iceland, we use a full slice of butter in a bread, but it's your choice. Okay. This butter, it's you're gonna feel it. It's completely different from the other countries, and the reason it's not because we do it better. It's the reason it's that our animals, the cows, the lambs, as you can see on the road, they are on the road. They live very happy. They eat grass. They don't eat hormones. And sorry, skyr. The skyr, the yogurt. Yeah, it's very rich and it's very tasteful. It's a kind of pleasure on your mouth.